Okay, so here are our rules of expressive singing. Word stress, steady beat, punctuation, repetition, diphthong, dynamic contrast, consonant release, voicing, dissonance, syncopation, and the rule of the slur. Here's the rule of word stress. Sing louder or with slight emphasis on important words or syllables. For example, America, America. We want to emphasize the mer in America, sorry. It would sound really weird if I went America. You know what I mean? So we emphasize the mer, and you can see that it is bolded and italicized there. America, America, land of hope and liberty, freedom reigns from every mountain, from sea to sea. So we want to emphasize important words. In English, you can usually figure out what the important words are. If you were to say your name, for example, my name is Miss Gleacher. It would sound really weird if I said Miss Gleacher or Miss Gleacher. What sounds most natural is Miss Gleacher. So I know that glee is the emphasized syllable. So practice that with your name. Figure out what is the syllable that is emphasized the most. Sometimes if you have more than 3 or 4 syllables in your name, it could be more than one are emphasized. Here's the rule of the steady beat. Any note longer than the length of a steady beat must crescendo or decrescendo. In my choir, I usually have my kids crescendo unless we decide as a group that's a good spot for a decrescendo. So using the same song. America, America. So this note right here is 1.5 beats, which is longer than 1 beat. Same thing here. This one is 2 beats. So this person who created this decided that we're going to crescendo on this one, crescendo get louder on this one, and decrescendo get softer on this one. Sounds like this. America, America, land of hope and liberty, freedom reigns from every mountain, from sea to sea. Rule of punctuation. Lift or break for every punctuation. What did I just say? Sorry. Rule of punctuation. My B. Lift or break for every punctuation mark throughout the piece. That could be a comma, a period, question mark, exclamation point. The reverse is also true. Do not break if no punctuation exists. At the foot of yonder mountain. That would be a bad spot to breathe. So this shows no breath. A lot of people like to breathe after mountain because it feels like a good spot, but there's no punctuation there, so I don't want to breathe there. At the foot of yonder mountain there runs a clear stream. There's a comma after stream, so that would be an appropriate spot to break. This is a breath mark. This is a no breath mark. Sometimes you'll see these in your music, but not all the time. So if you don't see these, you just look for punctuation in the text. Rule of repetition. Anytime you repeat a word or a phrase, you must make it different using dynamics or word stress or any of the other things that you'll learn through here. It must never remain the same. I'll give you an example of this. Oh, I'm having a hard time thinking of a song. Okay, never mind. Whatever. Rule of the diphthong. Please pay attention to how this is pronounced. PH makes the f sound. Diphthong. Please do not go to your choir director and say, "Oh, that's a diphthong." No, that's just so weird and strange. Diphthong. So the rule of the diphthong is you sing the first vowel sound throughout most of the note value, and then quickly add a second vowel sound at the end of the note value. So backing up in case you don't know what a diphthong is. A diphthong is two vowel sounds right next to each other. Like if I were to say the word hi, when we say it in English, we speak it so fast it just sounds, we don't think about that there's two vowels there. If I slow it down, hi, hi, there's an ah and an e sound. So that's what a diphthong is. If I'm singing that, hi, sounds kind of gross when you go to the second vowel. So what this is saying is we hold the first vowel, the ah, as basically as long as we can, and then you add the second vowel on the very, very end. Hi. Oh, here's an example. Cry out joy. If we go too early to that, it just sounds strange. Joy, joy. Hear a difference? Day, day. Lord. Sorry. Okay. Rule of dynamic contrast. Dynamics, I hope you can't hear those band instruments next to me. Dynamics are volumes. So soft would be piano, medium soft, mezzo piano, medium loud, mezzo forte, and forte would be loud. So dynamics are the volume, and contrast means, things that are differing. So dynamic contrast is how, having extremes from loud to soft. Okay. Pay close attention to all dynamic markings written in the music. When going from a softer dynamic to a louder one, think even louder than the dynamic written and vice versa. So for example, well, let's see if there's a thing here. So think even louder than the dynamic written. So if I'm going from a mezzo forte, which is medium loud, to a forte, sometimes I have to think that this is a little bit louder than a forte. Otherwise, we'll undershoot it. Same thing here. If I'm going from a forte to a mezzo forte, I have to think that this is even quieter than I anticipated it is, so that I make sure to quiet down enough. Same thing, especially here, this is a drastic change. Mezzo forte, which means medium loud, to pianissimo, which means very soft. So think even softer than that is. Rule of the consonant release. Okay, if I am singing this, soft upon your, that's so wrong. I'm gonna actually play the right notes. Soft upon your fields. So I put the S on the rest. The S from there, my last consonant, I put the S there. So it's soft upon your fields. The S goes on that rest, or consonant release. Was there? I don't know if I read this one. I'm sorry if I went too far ahead. Place the final consonant, the ending consonant, on the last full beat or the last half beat of the note value, or on the following rest. So in this case, there's a rest afterwards, so I put the consonant on the rest. If there wasn't a rest, but there was punctuation and I needed to take a breath, I would find a way to modify this. So you probably want to decide that as a class though, but if you're doing a solo, you could decide, instead of singing that 3 beats, which is dotted half note is 3 beats, I could, we're in 6/8. Pretend we're in 3/4 for 2 seconds. I could cut it off just a little bit early and make it be 2.5 beats, and just make it a little bit short. That didn't make sense because I'm a 6/8. Sorry. Rule of voicing. In polyphonic music, pause. Poly means multiple or many. Phonic is sounds. So polyphonic music is when there's lots of sounds going on at once. If you've ever learned any of Evan Powers' loop songs, well, it's fine by me, fine, fine, fine. Well, it's fine by me. How all those different parts are going at once. Bring out the important motives or themes, and shush everything else. So if you've got an important melody, bring that out, and the harmony parts, you can shush them. When the definition is down here, polyphonic, the simultaneous combination of 2 or more melodic lines. Motif, musical fragment or succession of notes that has some special importance in or is characteristic of a composition. Somehow I'm skipping too many slides at once. Rule of voicing. In polyphonic music, did we just say that? We did just say that. Okay, so here's what it looks like. So this is the Hallelujah chorus, and there are some, you can see that these are just kind of like going crazy, and then there's this common motive that comes back and forth. For the Lord God omnipotent reigneth. And they've got it, sorry, a different key, I'm just going to sing in the same one. For the Lord God omnipotent reigneth. And they have it for, you get the idea. So that's an important motive, and you see that these are highlighted. When we sing those parts, we want to bring them out because they can get buried under all this extra stuff that's going on. Rule of dissonance. Crescendo, or get louder, / lean into a clash of dissonance. So when two notes, I hope you can hear this, when two notes don't sound so pretty together, not the best example. When they clash, that's dissonance. You're going to lean into them. Decrescendo on the resolve. So that was a bad example. I'm going to do this instead. Also not a very good example, but you get my point. I played louder on the dissonance or tension, and then I got softer on the release. Dissonance, the definition is here, a sound created when two discordant notes are played together at the same time. Oh look, it gave me an example of some notes that I should play instead of trying to make it up. So you emphasize the dissonant one, and then get a little softer on the resolve. Rule of syncopation. Place an accent on the upbeat or emphasize the offbeat. Oops. So one, and. These are off beats, so this would be beat 1, beat 2, beat 3, beat 4. And the sight reading books, they usually put these accents in there, but in your music, you don't see that a lot of the time. So you would emphasize these 1, and, versus just 1, and, you know what I mean? Put emphasis on those by accenting them. Rule of the slur. Place a tenuto over the first note of the slurred pattern. Okay, those are two words we got to go over. Slur. It's a symbol that looks kind of like this. The notes it connects are to be played without separation. So with legato articulation. And a tenuto is to hold or sustain a note for its full length. So if we go here, this is a slur. That's what a tenuto looks like. So if I were to play this, ooh, that's a lovely interval right there. As lovely Dr. Bowers would say, loud, shut up. Oh. Place a tenuto on that one and sing it legato, smooth and connected. Really quick, I want to point out this symbol looks very similar to a tie. The difference being slur has, notice these are two different notes. If you know your note names, that's an F, that's a B on treble clef. If this were a tie, our notes would be the same. For example, it would be an F and an F, or a B and a B. Because these are different notes, we know that it's a slur and not a tie. So those are our rules of expressive singing. There are some more, but this is what we've got in this video for you. Have fun singing expressively and making beautiful music. Pretty much you can take any of these rules and apply them to your music. So once you think, oh, I've learned all my notes and rhythms and I'm not on solfege anymore, I'm on text, I can sing it, I'm done. We know the whole song. Go back and go through each of these rules one at a time and add them to your music. And it really makes it musical and expressive. Okay, that's all. Bye. Sort of bye.